Howdy, folks. So, in this video, I'll be talking about my eyesight. All right. So, I was born in Romania and I was born with congenital cataracts. And back in the day, doctors would not operate on young children with cataracts. At least that's what I was told when we were living in Romania. So, they told my parents that I had to be operated on by the time I was 7 years old. And I've done research. I've talked to doctors. They were saying that by that point it's late because your visual system is pretty much developed. I'm not entirely sure by which point the visual system fully develops, but I know it was developed because the first few years of life, I know I have a nephew and I have another friend that were born with congenital cataracts, and they got their cataracts removed when they were infants. And right now they both have 20/20 vision. They have normal vision. But anyways, in my case, unfortunately, they weren't able to do that. So for the first 10 months of my life, I was living in total darkness. I don't remember this, but from what my parents were telling me. And I heard the story numerous times. And when I was 10 months old, I received my sight by God's grace a little bit. Not 100%, but a little bit. I was basically living behind an opaque veil for the 9 years or so. So from 81 till 1990, yeah, I was able to see color. I was able to see people's faces, but they had to be pretty close to me. Truth be told, like when I used to look up at the sky, I couldn't tell. I mean, I could tell that it was cloudy, and I could tell if it was clear, but I couldn't tell if an airplane would fly by. I couldn't see it. And I remember when I got my cataracts removed, I remember being in school and I was like in a swing. I think I was like in third or fourth grade. I was like looking up at the sky and I was like, what are those? I asked one of my teachers and they're like, those are clouds. And I'm like, wow. That was the first time that I was able to see the clouds, and kind of the shape of the clouds. But unfortunately, because my cataracts got removed late in age, I remained legally blind. So unfortunately, till this day, my vision's 2200. And I remember being told that I would never be able to drive a vehicle. And I was definitely devastated. I mean, I was definitely saddened. I'm like, oh man. But, anyways, so another thing that was interesting is the fact that after my cataract surgery, they were supposed to provide like a contact lens or intraocular lenses, but they never did. And so I had to wear very high diopter, like plus power glasses. Those are called cataract spectacles. And for 28 years of my life, I've been wearing those. Granted, when I got older, I got glasses that were smaller because I've been told that the smaller the glasses are, the lighter they are, which in a sense it kind of sucks because it doesn't give you enough room to see. I mean, I was doing okay, I guess. At some point in my life, I noticed I was seeing double. I noticed I was seeing double, and I was like, "Oh man, this is weird." And so I went to a doctor, and they noticed that my right eye was shifting towards the right and slightly up. And in 2011, I got my prismatic glasses prescribed, and those are thick, like a quarter of an inch thick or something. I have a video clip that I would like to show you all, but It's crazy. And in the video clip, I'll talk about how they feel and whatnot. But anyways, and then I wore those for 3 years, and then I saw this strabismus doctor, and I was like, "Hey, is it possible for me to get strabismus surgery so the muscle can be fixed?" And he looked, and he's like, "Yeah, it's possible," but he told me it ain't gonna last long. It's probably maximum 3 years, or I don't remember what he said, 3 years or less. I don't even remember. But he said like a certain amount of time. He said it's not gonna last long. Praise God for everything. Here I am, nearly 11 years later, and my eyes are still good. My left eye still, sorry, my right eye actually still goes shifting towards the right, but it doesn't go up. So the images go kind of like, how I'm doing this with my hand. The images kind of like split, but it's not so bad to the way. Okay, so it's not so bad the way it was before. Like it's before it was bad, man. I'm telling you, like without the prismatic glasses, I used to see double. Like the images are like this, the way I'm showing you with my hand. You know, at some point, I had to close my eyes, especially when at night, especially when there was traffic with a lot of lights and whatnot. It was weird. It was weird, but like oftentimes I used to get sick in the car, and I was like, man, why? And I found out that's because everything was double and was messing with my head. But right now, praise God for everything. I got the strabismus surgery. I still wore the high power glasses. They weren't as thick, but for the most part, I was able to see normal in terms of, you know, single vision as opposed to double vision. And then in 2015, 10 years ago, I started to wear contacts, and then I did contacts and glasses for a while, so the glasses won't be as heavy. And then 2018, I was like, February of 2018, I was like, man, I'm kind of sick of messing with contacts. So I went to a doctor in Colorado. At the time, I was living in Colorado, and I was like, you know what? I'm curious to see if I'm a candidate for intraocular lenses, because growing up, I remember being a teenager, anywhere from 12 to about 16 or so, 18. I asked the doctor, kept asking the doctor, hey, as the years were flying by, I asked the doctor, hey, would I be a candidate to have intraocular lenses? And he's like, no, because, you know, it's going to affect you in the long run. Well, 2018, I got them implanted. By God's grace, here I am, 7 years later, on the 17th. Tomorrow, actually, it'll be 7 years since I got my IOLs implanted in my right eye, and the 31st of this month, May, it'll be 8 years. Sorry, 7 years since I got them implanted in my left eye. I'm sorry. Anyways, so yeah, by God's grace, I'm here. I still have to wear glasses. They overcorrected the intraocular lenses, but I still have to wear glasses. But they're normal. They're not thick. I can wear like a bigger, as y'all can see, like a bigger frame. I just like the bigger frame just because it gives me more room to see. And plus, I have progressive lenses. It works very well with the progressive lenses. I I know I'm still legally blind, obviously, but this is the best vision that I've ever had since 1990. You know. Anyway, so thanks for watching. At the end of this video, I'm gonna be showing you the video that I told you about earlier. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the difference between two pairs of glasses. As you can tell, these are very thick because they're prismatic lenses. They help my eyes focus together, Now I'm gonna show you a difference. I'm gonna show you a different pair that I used to wear. Check it out. It's the pair I used to wear back in the day. But what happens with these, when I focus, this eye shifts to the right and goes slightly up. That's the big difference. I mean, I like these better because they're thinner. They're definitely a lot lighter. Looks like I'm seeing double. I mean, it's true. I do see double of these. Which is kind of weird. So, I mean, like, I do see double of these. It's really, really strange how these work. With my new glasses, I get like marks right here on my nose because they're too heavy. But once I put these on, my double vision is gone, which is really interesting. It's really, really cool how it works. Thank you for watching, folks.